Have you ever noticed someone walking like a duck with their feet turned out towards the side? What most people don't realize is that people who walk like a duck with their feet turned out is not a foot problem. It's something up the chain. So in this video, we're going to talk about why people walk like a duck, what the actual cause is, why they compensate, and then some exercises in order to overcome it. Hi, I'm Alex Zephyr, founder of Resilient Training and Rehab, and I've helped thousands of coaches and clinicians get faster and more consistent results with their clients. Let's get into it. So before we get into how we're going to address this, let's talk about why this happens. So when we see these people who walk like a duck, what you see is their foot turned out, their shin turned out, as well as their leg. And this happens not because of the foot, but because we've got tension happening at the pelvis, where if we start to compress the back part of the hips, think of like your glutes, your piriformis, and other muscles back here, then you're going to start to open up your pelvis. Now what you can see in this illustration of the pelvis is the sockets are facing out more towards the side. And so if the socket's facing more out, the whole leg is going to start to turn out. And that's going to create external rotation. Now with that tension, we also have a pelvis that's probably dumping forward. Sometimes you'll see that one foot turns out more than the other. That has to do with the rotation of the pelvis. But when we've got this forward pelvis or this anterior pelvic tilt, as well as this tension back here, that's when we start to see everything really spinning out. We may also start to see people who have a rib flare, and again, that's just reinforcing this weight transfer towards your toes. So why these people start to turn out towards the side is not a foot problem, it's a hip problem, and probably something up the chain. So when we do exercises in order to overcome it, we need to be thinking about what movements do we need to create at the hip, knee, and foot, as well as the rib cage, in order to reinforce that. One of the main movements that people are missing is, if we're always in external rotation, we're probably missing internal. By internally rotating the hip, we get to open up the space in the back part of the pelvis. By creating that space, we start to separate the sacrum and the sit bone, as well as the femur, in order to turn everything back in. And when I internally rotate, I'm not talking about being pigeon-toed, where my toes are pointing in. I'm just thinking, if we're really into this external rotation, we need to internally rotate to come back to neutral. So we're going to talk about two different exercises that we can use in order to open up the back of the hips and then restore that position of the leg. So the first exercise we're going to do is really try to open up the back part of the pelvis. Now, as I mentioned, we've got a pelvis that's open more like a flower. So we're going to have a lot of tension going to the backside. We're going to have our sockets turning out. So we need to create a position of the pelvis that isn't tilted and squeezed, but is rolling back and opening up the back part of the pelvis through this internal rotation. So a great way to do that is a frog position breathing, just to take the feet out of it for a second. Sometimes what you'll see is feet that are really twisted out, and then at the knee, it almost looks like the knee is caving in. So when you start to see that, that means that we can't use the feet yet. We got to go above the knee. This is why we're going to use the frog position first, just to create that position. As I mentioned, if you see that one foot is turning out more than the other, then we can make this exercise asymmetrical. So I'm going to show both options. In order to set this up, what we're going to do is we're going to get nice and wide with our legs so that we are on the inside part of our knees. Okay, I don't want you to go too much where you start to feel a big stretch in your groin. That's not what we're trying to do here. I want you to go just enough that you can get the inside and all the muscles feel nice and relaxed. Then what you're going to do is you're going to drop down on your elbows, and you're going to have your elbows underneath your shoulders, but your elbows out to the side. I don't want it tucked inwards. A lot of people do that and then they'll start to shrug up. They don't have the space in their shoulders, so I prefer the elbows to be in a similar direction as their knees. So then I'm going to shift my body over top my arms. I'm going to get tall through my shoulders so that I open up my back. You're not going to crunch, but just think like your chest is lifting up. Take a big breath in through your nose as you get tall. Feel a nice stretch in the upper back. Then as you breathe out, you're going to push your knees down into the ground. So I don't want you to think that you're squeezing your knees. I want you to keep the knees where they are and you're pushing straight down. That's going to create that space in the back of the hip. If I just do this, then a lot of people will tend to arch their lower back as they do it. versus if I push straight down, it almost feels like I'm shifting my weight back into my hips versus tilting forward and squeezing. So you're just going to hold here and take big breaths. As you breathe out, 5-second squeeze down. Now let's say that that right foot is turning out more than the left, and this happens a lot with a pelvis that's turning towards the right. We can put a pad underneath the left knee, because what that is going to do is put more weight on my right leg to push me back towards the center. Again, if my hips are turning to the right, I'm going to have a lot of weight on this right leg. So what I want to do is put more weight on the right leg, so I have to push off. So now I can get into this frog position where I feel more weight on this right side. So as I push down, it almost feels like a shift towards the left. I'm not going to cue that. Sometimes I do, but not in this case. I'm just going to take a big breath in, get tall through my arms, breathe out as I push my knees down, and I can feel a difference between my right side and my left side when I push. I can feel more upper groin on my left and a little more middle groin on my right side. And I'm just going to take big breaths here. Okay, so now that we have reinforced that pelvis position, now let's integrate it with the foot, because what I want is to make sure that the inside edge of my foot is in contact with the ground, my shin is able to turn in, and my hip is able to turn in. But what I don't want to happen is everything rotating in together. That's another compensation. We don't want that. Instead, what we want is the inside edge of the foot to go down. That will turn the shin in, but I don't want the knee to go with it. So I'm going to use this bench as a way to push against. Elevate my toe so I'm able to help get that arch down more effectively. And then I'm going to do a hinge position, which is going to allow me to create that internal rotation of that left hip. Now, we could do this on both sides if we have duck feet on both sides, of course. If we find that we have more of a shift of the hips towards the right, then we can obviously do this more on the right side. But what I'll get people to do is do this on both sides, just to create this cue of turning into this hip by holding onto the dumbbell, really pushing through the foot as the knee drives forward. So my knee's pushing out, but you can see I'm not that far away where my knee is twisted out. I'm getting nice and close where it doesn't even look like I'm pushing. And then I'm just going up and down, keeping the knee as stable as I can to drive the rotation through the hip, knee, and the foot. In this video, we talked about why duck feet happens, that it's not a foot issue, it's actually more around the hips or maybe the rib cage, as well as a couple of exercises in order to overcome it. And if you're still looking for more exercises in order to address postural asymmetries like this, then check out my Resilient Posture program. I created a 3-phase program of exercises in order to address compensations just like this. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, save, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.